You snuck into your husband's library to entertain yourself, and no, you were not there to read some books or to gain some knowledge. Finally, it's my time tonight. You cheer to yourself and open the secret cabinet hidden behind the shelf of books. Your eyes sparkle with delight upon seeing your husband's collection of expensive wines or other beverage. He was out for some business and you planned to use the time to get wasted and sleep before his arrival. He wouldn't even know. You smirked mischievously and took out a wine bottle. You pressed your lips on it and hugged it closer to your chest. My baby, it's just us tonight. No one is gonna disturb us. It wasn't like Jimin had some issues with you consuming alcohol, but he certainly had problems with drunk you. Because when you started drinking, you knew no bounds. You would drink more than you could handle and turn into someone Jimin couldn't handle at all. Thus, he tried his best to keep you away from it. And to do so, he even hid all the alcoholic beverage in a secret compartment. But he couldn't keep it away from your predatory eyes. You soon found it and just enjoyed it whenever Jimin was not around. Opening the lid, you took a small sip directly from the bottle. Your throat burned with the sour, fermented taste, but you were kinda used to it. I'm gonna enjoy you while watching a movie. Let's go. You hopped towards the stairs, but your steps halted when you noticed an envelope on his desk. There were plenty of files and papers, but that particular envelope had your undivided attention. You walked up to the table and scanned the envelope. It was already open. You didn't want to invade Jimin's business, but curiosity got the best of you. You took out the neatly folded letter from it and reading what was written inside. Anger filled within as your eyes traced through the letters. By the end, you were trembling with rage. Clutching the wine bottle tightly in your hand, you stormed out of the library. Step aside, I need to talk to him. You snapped, your voice slurry as you were pretty wasted. The reason was the wine which was now in your stomach. The guard shared a look, looking at you weirdly as you were swaying side to side and talking to a wall. They walked up to you. Miss, you need something? You blinked and snapped your head towards the source of the voice. Though there were two guards, your hazy vision saw four. Hey guys, you grinned, waving at them, but in reality you were waving at something invisible at their sides. The guard sighed, knowing you were a bit too tipsy. Miss, I think you are lost. You want us to call someone to take you back home? He asked, thinking you got lost on your way. However, they flinched when you started laughing loudly. The laughter was scary, and it sent a chill down their spine. For a moment, they got scared, thinking you are possessed. Lost? Oh, come on, uncle. I'm not a little kid who would get lost. They blinked, gaping at you in disbelief when you suddenly turned serious, pointed your finger at them, almost walking in one of their eyes. Let me go inside. I am here to talk to that macaroni. Yes, I'm here to talk to macaroni. They frowned, but soon realization dawned upon them. You want to meet Marco or boss? You nodded vigorously, but then scrunched your nose in distaste. Yes, him. But his name is Macaroni. What kind of employee you are? You don't even know your boss' name? They blinked in disbelief when you mocked them. Okay, miss. But do you have any appointment with him? You scoffed as though they had uttered some rubbish. I don't need an appointment to meet him. Just let me go inside. You tried to walk past them, but they didn't let you step inside. You groaned and glared at them, but they remained unfazed. Can we know your name? We can't let you step inside without our boss' permission. You scolded, nevertheless told them your name. Vian, Park Vian, wife of Park Jimin. Now let me go inside. Their eyes widened, their hands instinctively going to their guns, pulling them out, pointed it at your head. Chill, uncles. Put this toy down. My husband has plenty of these. Slapped their hands, but they didn't waver their guns from your head. Your words died on your lips and a deep, manly voice cut through the commotion. What is happening here? He looked at the source of voice and found a tall, muscular man emerging from the mansion and walking towards you. Boss, she is Park's wife. Your head snapped towards the guard who spoke, eyes darkening and hands clenching at your sides. What do you mean by Park, huh? Call him sir. Take my husband's name with respect. You squinted your eyes at him, trying to your best to look intimidating amidst the chaos of your drunken, flushed state. We have got a devoted wife over here. You craned your neck to look at him, your intoxicated mind struggling to focus. Who are you? You asked, squinting your hooded eyes at him. He raised his eyebrows, taking in your current intoxicated state. Marco, your husband's sworn enemy. He tilted his head, a devilish smirk stretched across his lips. Your expression hardened, hearing him. Oh, so you are Macaroni. Follow me, we need to have a few words. You waved your hand signaling him to follow you as you walked past him and entered into his mansion as though you owned it. The guard stepped forward to stop you, but Marco stopped them. He chuckled and followed after you, his eyes glinting with mixed feelings, amusement and surprise floating above all. Sit here. Marco raised an eyebrows when he pointed at a couch and slumped down on one couch like a queen. He didn't question and sat where you asked him to. He looked at you, slowly observing your every move, even the slightest shift of your expression. He was trying to read through you. I read the letter you sent to my husband, the one which has a death threat. You folded your one leg over the other, tilting your head in a calculative manner. He chuckled humorlessly, a wicked sound that could scare anyone but you. You were in the grasp of alcohol, and you were brave enough to fight against an elephant, let alone a human. Never knew the great mob boss was a crybaby. I didn't know he would cry in front of you for receiving. He mocked, but you steadied your drunken voice, cut him off. Stay away from my husband. Whatever you are planning, drop it. If you think you can get to him, you are mistaken. You need to face me before him. Your words carried a threat. No humor, no bullshit, just straight warning. Ah, the brave little wife. He laughed, a sound so chilling, so scary, and full of amusement. He was surprised and maybe a little impressed by your bravery. Does your husband know you are here? Or you are playing hero behind his back? You rolled your eyes and raised the wine bottle to your lips to take a sip, but it was empty. You groaned and discarded the bottle on the floor. A shattering sound echoed through the living area as the bottle scattered into umpteenth pieces. What kind of a host are you? Didn't even ask me for a drink. You scolded at him. He snickered and pushed himself off the couch. My bad, ma'am. What would you like to have? He raised an eyebrow as you went into deep thoughts, contemplating what to ask. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, you grinned at him. Wine, the one my husband has in the secret compartment. You grinned cheekily, your face flushed and eyes swollen from the effect of alcohol. I'm afraid I don't have the wine from your husband's collection, but I do have some nice drinks. Do you want to give them a try? Your face fell, but you nodded, having no other choice. Cool, I'll be back within a moment, just stay put. He stated and disappeared into the kitchen. Instead of bringing wine as you demanded, he made lemonade for you. He himself didn't know why he was doing this, treating his enemy's wife as a guest. He should have held you captive and used you against Jimin instead of bearing with your attitude. But your careless attitude and possessiveness over your husband stirred something inside him. It made him feel how lonely he was, and he had no one who could fight for him like you were doing for Jimin. He returned after a few minutes. Handing you the glass of lemonade, he sat on his previous spot. He watched as you took a sip and scrunched your nose. You didn't like it? He asked, but you ignored his question and took another sip, making the same face all over again. It's not that bad, but it's nothing like what my husband has. He has the best collection. You smile to yourself. He noticed the way your eyes sparkled while talking about Jimin, and it made him a little envious. You really love him, don't you? A lot. You spread your arms wide, giggling to yourself. A smile appeared on Marco's face, a genuine smile with no hint of wickedness or cruelty. Do you have a wife or a girlfriend, Macaroni? He was taken aback by your sudden question. For a moment, he just stared at you and then slowly shook his head. Oh, but why? I mean, you are not that old and look fine. Obviously, you are not as handsome as my Jimin, but still. He just shrugged his shoulders and looked away. Your question hit something fragile in his heart. I have no family, he mumbled after a brief moment of silence. He didn't know why he was telling you, his enemy's wife, all of this, but he just felt like speaking. All of my family members died during a war with Park's family. I was a kid at the time, and I grew up with that hatred in my heart. I want to avenge their death by killing your husband. He just shrugged casually, as if he hadn't just spelled his family's history in front of his enemy's wife, who was technically his enemy too. You hummed thoughtfully, absorbing the newfound information. Was Jimin involved in all of this? He snapped his head up to you, again taken aback by your question. He shook his head in negation. So only your family died. Was there no death in Jimin's family? The queries pushed Margot in deep thought. Certainly there was loss from both ends. If he lost his family, Jimin lost it too. There was. Jimin's father died and his mother too passed away soon after, as if she couldn't bear the loss of her husband. He recited, making you nod affirmatively. Now tell me one thing. A war that left you empty-handed, that left you lonely and vulnerable. Should it happen again? Raised your brows as he dropped his keys, pondering over your words. Besides, there is no such feeling called revenge from Jimin's side, though he was equally devastated as you. Only you are running behind revenge. You lifted your shoulders in a casual shrug, gulping down the remaining lemonade in one go. So, what do you think I should do, Your Highness? Your chest swelled with pride, and you straightened up, chin tipped high. Make a peace treaty, drop this idea of revenge, and then find a partner for yourself. You still have time to create a family you lost back then. Marco's lips twitched into a faint, vulnerable smile. And I can bet you'll be the happiest. See, Jimin, how happy he is with me. I know he looks dangerous to the outside world, but he's just a cutie. You know, he whines when I don't give him attention, and at night, your blabbering was cut off by Marco clearing his throat. He looked flustered. I don't want to know details. You were about to speak, but the door barged open and Jimmy stormed inside, followed by his man. His face was a mask of fury as he pointed his gun at Marco. Jimin's gaze was murderous as he switched it from Marco to you. What the hell are you doing here? He growled, his voice low but dangerous. Well, she came here to negotiate. I'm not talking to you. He gritted out, his eyes burning with anger. Marco shrugged, sitting there casually as if he wasn't just a click away from getting shot. Meanwhile, you witnessed their interaction silently. Rising from the couch, you thrust towards Jimin and nuzzled in his arms. Are you okay? He didn't do anything, right? He asked, looking down at you, worry laced his tone. But his hand didn't waver, still firmly holding the gun to his head. He is nice. He even made me a drink. You grinned up at him. His eyes narrowed when you observed closely and realized you were drunk. I'll deal with you later, he whispered, embracing you tightly in his arms. His expressions hardened when he averted his gaze back to Marco. If you ever come near my wife, I'll kill you. Do you understand? Jimin gave him a last glance and turned sharply, dragging you out of the mansion, ignoring your blabbering. You are so bad, you didn't even let me say bye to him. You whined as he carried you into the bedroom and put you down on your feet. He is my enemy, not some friend who you need to say bye to. He mumbled and grabbed your arm as he tried to walk out of the room. Where are you going now? You have created enough chaos tonight. Just reward me with some peace for now. He chuckled and arched back as he held you by your waist. Do you have any idea what you have done? You could have been killed or was held hostage. On top of that, ma'am is drunk too. Do you think this is a game? As he blabbered out his concerns, you played with his face, stretching his lips into a smile, poking his nose, widening his eyes to make him a clown. You ignored his words and laughed, enjoying your little play. He sighed, dropping the idea of talking to you because he knew talking to your drunk form was worse than banging his head against a wall. I sometimes think you take advantage of my love for you. Not my fault that you love me so much that you can't stay mad at me. You giggled as you squeezed his face between your palms, his lips puckering due to the pressure. You felt left a few pecks on his pouty lips. Stupid. Let's go to sleep. I'm tired due to all the ordeal of searching for you. He walked towards the bed, making you step back as you were still in his hold. But before he could make you sit on the bed, you switched the positions and pushed him. He gasped as he bounced on the mattress. When what? His words died in his throat when you climbed on him and sat on his stomach. You smirked down at him and bit your lips seductively. He blinked. His hands flew to cover his closed chest. Your intentions do not seem right to me, he mumbled when you raked your intense gaze from his face down to his chest and darkening even more as you looked back at his eyes. But trust me, my intentions are not pure at all. These are filthy, dark, and intense. Lean down to his face, your hair curtained down to either side of your face. I want to hunt you down and eat you alive, you whispered against his lips. Grabbing his hands, you pinned them down on either side of his head. He couldn't help but laugh. Instead of finding this hot, he found it cute. Saying naughty things with a flushed, swollen face made you look adorable to his eyes. Hey, don't laugh or I'll eat you for real. You warned with a cute frown on your face. He laughed even louder, aching your nerves even more. When he didn't stop, you buried your face in the nook of his neck and bit on his sweet spot. He groaned as your teeth sank into his flesh, hard enough to leave a mark but gentle enough to not draw out blood. He hissed when he sucked on the same spot, his eyes closed shut. However, his eyes flickered open when your movement stopped, your grip loosening around his wrist. Vian, he softly called out your name but didn't receive a response. Holding your name, he pulled your head back slightly, only to find you asleep. He shook his head and fixed your posture, still holding you in his arms, but now you lay beside him. He pulled up the blanket on you both and stared at you until he drifted off to sleep. Your sleep got disturbed when you felt a feather light touch on your cheeks. Let out a soft sigh before opening your eyes. A smile broke out on your face when your eyes met Jimin's. Morning, husband, you whispered, your voice groggy and a little husky. It wasn't a right move, Vian. I was freaking out, running like a madman when I got to know that you went to his house. He iterated and you blinked as last night's incidents flashed in your head. What was I supposed to do? I found the letter and I decided to deal with him myself. I can't afford losing you. Remember shifting a little closer and placing your head on his chest. Neither can I, honey, but what you had done was risky. You had your life at stake, and mine too, along with yours. He whispered, his voice a soothing murmur along with a hint of disappointment. I just wanted to protect you because I love you. he murmured, pressing a kiss on his chest right above where his heart was beating. He let out a soft sigh, gliding his fingers through your hair. If you want to protect me, keep yourself safe. I can't handle a single scratch on you, so promise me, no more stunts from now on. Holding your jaw, he made you look at him. You bit your lip and reluctantly nodded. Fine, no more stunts until there's a dire need for me to confront your enemies. He sighed due to your stubbornness and narrowed his eyes at you. Fine, he called out sternly. Fine, I promise. He rumbled under your breath and dropped your head back on his chest. Your eyelids drooped due to his tender touch on your hair and you fell asleep again. You followed Jimin down the stairs, barely holding your excitement. When the guards informed Jimin that Marco came to talk to him, you became curious and followed after him. Hi, Macaroni. You smiled and waved at him as soon as your eyes met his, and he smiled back to you, much to your surprise. He isn't your friend. Don't forget he sent your husband death threats. Jimin instantly interrupted, not liking the interaction between you and Marco. Why are you here? He asked as he stood in front of Marco, staring at him with intense eyes, while you clicked your tongue, poking his arm. At least ask him to sit. I'll make coffee and then you both can talk. Jimin, he's our guest. Jimin glared at you, stunning you into silence. Marco was the exchange between you both with amusement. Actually, I'm here to make a peace treaty, he said, catching you both off guard. Nevertheless, you grinned and showed him thumbs up, but Jimin grabbed your thumb and lowered your hands. And why this sudden change of mind? Is there another wicked plan of yours behind this facade? Marco snickered and shook his head. Right, I would have asked the same if I were at your place. But last night when I talked to Vian, Mrs. Park, you are not calling my wife with her name. Jimin grumbled, pulling you behind his back. You huffed and bit on his shoulder bone, but he stood unfazed as though your bites didn't affect him. Meanwhile, Marco raised his hand in mock surrender. Fine, so your wife changed my mind. I realized I didn't want revenge anymore. I want peace. I want to meet someone and create my own family. So yeah. He shrugged and chuckled when you winked at him over Jimin's shoulder. Is that all? Yeah, I guess so, he murmured, nodding his head. Fine, be a man and stick to your words. If you try to pull some stunts, my gun would gladly do the honors. Don't worry, man, you have my words. Besides, your wife will not leave me alive if I dare to do something. Jimin gave a small curt nod, his stoic hard expression not faltering. Truce. Now you can leave. Pointed towards the door, struggling to hold you behind his back. Marco let out a soft sigh and turned to leave, much to Jimin's relief. But he stopped and again faced Jimin. What? Oh, I need to ask something to your wife. No, you can't leave. Despite his efforts, you broke free from his grip and stood in front of Marco. Yes, Macaroni. Do you have a sister or a friend? You smirked teasingly, wriggling your eyebrows. Why? Do you need their number? His face flushed and he looked everywhere but you. Even Jimin was surprised seeing him blushing so hard. Macaroni. Of course I do have a friend and she is single. Let me just fetch my phone from my room. You punched on his arm and rushed towards your room. Marco rubbed his arm where you had just punched him and looked at Jimin. She's strong. I know, I trained her. If you don't mind me asking, how did you impress her? Jimin glared at him as though he would kill him right then and there. I'm just asking for my general knowledge. Don't try to get close to my wife, I'll kill. I'm not, I'm just need some tips. Marco avoided eye contact, looking flustered. Jimin cleared his throat, his gaze raking around the living area before finally settling over Marco. Do you prefer tea or coffee? Coffee. He smiled, knowing where this was going. Maybe an enmity was going to flourish into a friendship, and the Cupid was you.